Hey friends, it's Teresa here. Today I'm on the Traci Reed Designs blog with a super cool Taylor Swift inspired layout using the Moonlit digital collection. And so, thank you for, following along with my process today. Here are the things that I have printed out and gathered for the collection. I did a printed out a mixed media background using some of the mixed media elements from the Moonlit collection. I have the single photo of the album itself and at least the main cover of the album and the photo frame from the Moonlit collection. I have a couple of the elements, the amazing guitar from this collection, the sunglasses, and then I also borrowed the alphabets from the Manuscript digital collection. The Manuscript was most definitely a Taylor Swift inspired collection, but I also see a lot of especially the mixed media on this layout reminds me of Lavender Haze. And that's what made me think of this for this layout. Now, this layout is going in my 2022 October Daily album, and it feels really strange to think back that the Midnight's album was released in October of 22. But here we are, and this is a perfect way to document this event in October Daily. I don't know if you remember or not, but Midnight's was a very exciting release. She released the songs one by one at midnight, and lots of Swiftie fans stayed up until midnight and beyond. I won't say whether I did or not. But it was definitely an exciting release. One of what I believe is one of her best albums. And, definitely the, Lavender Haze vibe from this album was something that I felt, shapeshifted the music industry quite a bit. The sounds and the percussion and things, the way they produced the songs on this album were really unique and awesome. So I don't know if you remember or not also, but Taylor produced or released 4 different album covers, and the album covers themselves are just an entire mood. Her poses, her outfits, the way that they are, the way that the photos are edited and filtered, and everything that they did with them is just amazing. And, when she released these album covers, she also did a display clock for them. So if you got all 4 of them, I didn't get all 4 of them. I just get one album of each release. I am a Swiftie. I consider myself a Swiftie, but, there are some things that, I'm going to save some money for scrapbook paper. I know you feel me. But the clock itself is really cool, to house all 4 albums, but I thought it would be cool to recreate that clock right here in my album. And so I took inspiration from the clock itself. And of course, there are lots of knockoffs too, of course. You can find a lot of different versions on Etsy. But what I did was, first off, I printed and cut the 4 album covers. They're each just a little bit smaller than 3 inches square. And then I grabbed a transparency and cut the transparency at 6 inches, just under 6 inches square. and went ahead and adhered the album covers to the background, and I've punched everything in the center so that the clock hands, in theory, they can move around the clock. And so the reason why I use the transparency here is simply so that the clock numbers could be housed on a layer and not interfere with the photos. I don't know if that makes sense or not to you, but I really like the look. It's the look of having those albums protected somewhere, like there's something really special, which they all really are special. And so I think that this worked out really well to give a great place for the numbers to live rather than having to put them on the photo itself. Now, these are, I mentioned already that the numbers come from the alphabet set in the Manuscript collection, which is very much a Taylor Swift inspired collection. And I will say, I would have used more of the Manuscript collection, but it felt a little bit not quite right, since the Manuscript and everything with the Tortured Poets Department came 2 years later or a year later. So just the numbers, and the reason I chose the numbers is because I feel like with the white, it's a white sort of almost like a stone texture. And I feel like it pops against the album covers. And that's why I felt like those numbers were probably really the best ones to use. Now, the hands of the clock are actually cut down exclamation points from the black alphabets in the Moonlit collection. And then the little gold circle is the full moon from the Moonlit collection. And I think that makes a great little base. I did use just a little tiny purple brad in the center, and it holds everything together. And now you can see how those numbers are attached beautifully there. I did add some labels on the left-hand side for my journaling, just to talk about the Swifties staying up until midnight and way beyond to listen to the release in real time. And then I'm also adding a couple of little tiny purple acrylic stars and hearts. They're just pieces I've had in my stash. And of course, since this is October Daily, I also needed a number for October 22nd. I don't think that that's actually the day that it was released. I feel like it might have been the 21st. But this is where it's gonna go in my album. So I'm just using an older Ali Edwards 22 from previous December Daily releases and calling day 22 done. I hope you'll check out the blog post. I'll have more detailed instructions for the clock and definitely a detailed product list for you. And I will see you back here again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.